A pastor friend of mine gave me the best advice once I went through the toughest season of my life, which was a transition from church. We went through a very, very painful experience that kind of broke up a lot of things in our family, lost our job, transitioned out. And I called this pastor friend of mine and says, Abe, here's what you need to know. The reason why it hurts so much is because you're realizing you're not special. This happens all the time. Families break up, divorce happens. There's moral failure in the church. It says, now you know how it feels. And God will use this experience to put something in you that you will never forget the pain that people go through. I feel like working at a church for 15 years full time since I was 18 years old, you definitely get accustomed to the bubble. You definitely get used to just living around people who all they do is live and breathe ministry. But then we forget that there's people who are out there every day just fighting to get through, living paycheck to paycheck, or just believing for their families to get ahead. And it was a reality check for me, absolutely. And I choose to hold on to that thorn and never forget it. Because if I don't choose to humble myself, I've experienced how when God humbles you, I rather choose humility. I think I'm gonna hold mine.
Hold it
like
tight.
This.
Hold it tight.
Is this good?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Out here in downtown San Diego,
It's hot,
dog.
bro.
It's not that hot.
So these are the three buildings. So in September we're gonna paint them all white and put the signage.
And this will be
So
kids'
it's gonna
church.
be great. Yeah, there's gonna be offices now. Kids' churches next door, and then the main church building.
I've been wanting to ask you though, why don't you want to be a young YouTuber?
Why do I want to be a young tuber, bro?
No, why don't you want to? Dude, just clip the hat.
Because I'm not.
Clip the hat.
Okay, let me
just
see it.
Just
Hold
for
on.
a little bit.
How'd you do it?
34 and 33, young YouTube. Oh, I did the wrong way too. You're gonna
How'd you
reverse
do
it?
it?
I think
Where's
yeah,
the
just to
clip?
the outside.
Oh, like this. Okay.
Yeah. Let's get it.
Like this? Is the audio still good? Bro,
Wait,
we're young YouTubers.
Who are the young YouTubers?
This dude, his name's Sam. He's a bodybuilder. He's got legs.
Dude, we're the same.
Putting this mic on like hats and beanies is dope, bro. Bro, dude, how does this look? At least
cool.
mine's
I mean,
black.
it's a vibe
Yours
for
is
sure.
like.
It's a vibe. I mean, if you're out YouTubing,
That was epic.
So we scared the doggy. You good?
Dude, I was young YouTubing, man.
I think we got our intro.
Oh, we did, bro. That hurt. This is a good spot for Instagrammers.
Yeah, I feel like this is where maybe we're gonna get our start, you know? I feel like this is where influencers are born.
Maybe we should keep this going through the night and go to the Padres game
Dude, be so down.
at Petco.
Let's go. Let's go.
I just want to say young YouTubers now over and over because of you.
I feel like that would be like good merch, young YouTubers.
How often you go to, you say, how do you?
Too
how
much. I say Hinar.
Hinar.
You said Hinar instinctively.
I thought the last time we went, you said Hinar.
No. I think I said,
Hinar.
I've always said Hinar.
How did they say it? The
Dude,
baristas?
maybe we should ask.
We should.
Because I have no idea. Maybe I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
It's possible. Dude, what
Everywhere.
is this? That place is sick.
Bro, it's a dope new spot. They sell like
Pottery.
really beautiful, like home decor and
Oh
plants.
yeah, you told me
and-
about it last time.
Yeah, it's dope.
it used to be a coffee shop, right?
It did?
Yeah, Gentile used to be here.
COVID, I think, right?
Yes, it was Gentile,
Gentile.
and then they moved to North Park, and then it became Tap Shack, which was
Gentile's still around.
yeah, no, they moved. They got a cool spot.
Yeah.
Yes,
Fun coffee shop.
and then it was a church for a while too.
What are you gonna get to drink?
I get the same thing all the time. Just get a hot oat latte.
Oat latte?
Oat. I'm lactose.
Since forever?
I saw this documentary. It says that we're also it says that we're all lactose. We're not supposed to be drinking milk from like other animals. I feel like every creature is supposed to drink the milk of its mom and for a while, and then you kind of grow out of it.
I've heard the other side of the argument, though, that it's not necessarily the cow's milk that's the problem as much as the way it's processed and fed.
Perhaps.
Similar to beef in the United States.
Yeah.
Or even gluten.
Um,
But I don't eat gluten.
I
But
think-
everybody says if you go to Italy or France and have gluten, it doesn't affect you if you have a gluten intolerance.
I feel like we are qualified to talk about this.
Are you gonna get a dessert, bro?
Yeah, totally.
It's so pretty.
My guy.
So a long line.
Did you see the vibes though? You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is, yeah.
What did I get last time? I got a decaf Americano.
You can see the menu
so
right here. It's on the wall.
I'm probably just gonna get a cold brew. This is hot.
It is hot, bro.
I'm always tempted to get a cappuccino because that's what Josh gets at every coffee shop.
That's like a thing, huh?
They almost swear.
Dude,
And when you're listening to this, Josh.
you should throw in some like Easter eggs to see if he actually listens,
Oh, smart.
and then like test him
From now on, we'll see.
from now on.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna like test him the week after.
He's that friend that is like, bro, I love the pod, and he never heard it.
He's like posting about it to his IG.
Bro, favorite pod, move me. What? You don't even watch it.
Such a beautiful conversation.
Best episode yet. Legend. These guys right here
He's a
brought
big
me.
YouTuber. He hasn't been telling you.
I bring all my friends out here. Tell them
Look
it's the
up
best
Young
coffee. This is
YouTube.
the best coffee. You can look up young YouTubers.
Yeah.
We have no idea what you'll find.
Maybe don't search young YouTubers. They have a channel called Divine Persuasion.
Divine Precision.
Yeah.
What they do, like
He interviews just like,
Grand City.
yeah, from all over.
Okay.
Because he's from Arizona, bunch of stuff going on. They just said they wanted a good coffee, so I'm like, dude, let's go. Okay, but we were talking about this. I said Hinar, he said Hinar. What's the right pronunciation?
Hinar.
Hinar.
Hinar?
Yeah,
But
Hinar.
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 Yeah.
There you go.
The Hinar.
Not Hinar. Damn.
All right, guys.
Hey, what's that? Cut the episode. What? Okay, go ahead. What do you get?
Welcome to
To Hinar.
San Diego. Right here we have a lovely two guests from Arizona and
Down the street.
yep.
Dude, look at
Go,
you.
bro.
You need to get the
Here, bro.
podcast
Do
going.
you need a mic?
I go to this cool once a year retreat called Young Guns.
Or you do?
Yeah,
Is that a real thing?
it's real. I didn't put it on. So it's like from the creators of like Catalyst Conference.
Okay.
Do this really cool thing up here in North County, San Diego at Bob Goff's ranch. They just bring like influencers from all over. Unfortunately, it's like I feel like they called it that a long time ago and it kind of stuck. This is like back in the day where like Catalyst Conference was like a thing. They started Young Guns.
Where was Catalyst at?
They would host it here in
But
like Orange County-ish.
so
At,
it was in
Mariners
Southern
Church?
California? Okay. Would you ever drive a Tesla?
I drove a Tesla once.
No, but I mean as your car.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
They're really beautiful, but like my dream car was always a Jeep.
The one that you have?
Yeah. And I feel like I want to have that forever. And then if it ever just like, let's get another one. Because I'm not much of a car guy. People were like, oh, what kind of car are you looking for? It's like a black Jeep. Like, that's it. That's what I want in a car. A black Jeep.
What year is it?
2016. It's solid. I got it new, so it's like, it's got some miles in it. Over 100,000.
Anyway, you were talking about the dude from Tesla that goes to Young Guns.
Yeah, so it's a great group. It's a great group. So the whole format, they're like intentionally unintentional. That's like their whole thing. It's like the first year I went, I was like, so like what's the schedule? They're like, we're intentionally unintentional. So we have like, they bring in a sage. So that's what they call it. A Bob Goff, somebody that's been around for a long time, that's got wisdom to speak into the young guns. And then like the rest of the day, you're just out there. There's a pool, there's basketball, golfing, whatever. And you're just having conversations all day. It's pretty cool. A lot of connections. I met a lot of cool people there. That's how I met Julian from Oasis, Pastor Julian.
He's a good dude.
He's there.
Love you, Julian. You're not watching. But I
Yeah,
love you.
yeah, he's watching. No, he's watching for sure. He's
He
watching
watches
for sure.
He's
Every
one
episode.
of the 28 subs.
Absolutely. You know, yeah, that's where I met him. That's great.
How long ago was that?
That was like 4 years ago.
Dude, how awesome was the barista? What was he saying about his YouTube channel and music? I
He's
didn't
saying that he
fully
puts.
understand.
Yeah, no, he said that he put some music stuff up there.
Is he here a lot?
Yeah. Yeah. He's one of like the staple guys here. So
Did they normally give you the number? Or did they not do it today?
he might just like bring it out. Because I think we didn't say to go.
We didn't.
No. Let me just go check it out.
All right, you're mic'd up. Just remember,
Yeah.
represent the Lord. Oh man, did you get the flowers over here? They're actually pretty sick.
On the coffees, we didn't say to go, but can we get him to go?
To go?
Yeah. You just dump them in. That's fine.
Podcast.
Yeah, they appreciate
Where are
it.
you from, bro? Where?
I'm Chaldean Catholic from Iraq.
Iran?
Yeah,
That's awesome, bro.
we're the original people of Iraq. Babylonians. It's in the Old Testament.
That's what I literally
You
thought.
say Iran or Iraq?
Iraq.
The
Iraq?
guy I work with is from Iran, but he says he doesn't, like, sometimes Iranian people don't like it when you're Sunni or something. He told me something like that.
We're Christian Catholic. We're not the Arab. We are the original people. So what kind of broadcast are you shooting?
Christian and spiritual and motivational.
Faith?
Yeah, faith.
Yeah. What's your name, bro?
Ivan,
Ivan? Wendell.
Let's go. Come on.
Let's go, bro. All right, man. We'll hit you up. Well, I don't know why I said we'll hit you up, but maybe I'll see him again there.
Probably will.
What are we drinking, fellas?
Cold brew,
You know,
always.
oat latte.
But you always say every time we go to get coffee, you say cafecito.
Cafecito. You know, it's kind of stuck. Kind of stuck, man.
I like it. It makes it sound like more
Café
exciting.
con leche. Yeah, cafecito. Because cafecito is the activity. It's like you're having coffee. No, it's cafecito time. You know?
The other day I was with Josh after we had hung with you, and
Yep.
I said, "Te quieres ir, cafecito?" And he's like, "What?"
Cafecito, un cafecito. That means like get together and have a little
the best.
cafecito.
Last night we went to the Padres game in Profar. It was 3-3 all the way. Yes, bro, we were there.
You were there?
Yeah, we sat in the home run section. My kids. Oh my gosh, Actually, I'm not putting my kids on YouTube, but
Good.
we have a dope video of me holding my sons.
You can edit that.
Like right when Profar hit it off, and we were actually planning to leave. We went to go get
Get straight.
souvenirs for the boys, and then we're getting the souvenirs, and a couple guys got on base, a couple more, and then me and the boys just started sprinting back to our seats. And
That's
Amy
cool.
said she teared up. It was like so magical, like
Wow.
this whole memory for the boys.
Yo, that's awesome.
That's
And then
great.
we watched the walk-off hit, and the whole stadium erupted.
Bro, probably went crazy.
I feel like San Diego's gone so crazy for the Pods too,
Yeah.
because now it's the only team.
I mean, since
I
the
mean, the
Chargers
MLS is
left,
coming,
everybody,
but it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
the
yeah.
same.
Everybody's nervous that they would leave, but you know, yeah, man.
Here's some Padres fans right here. Go Padres! Go Padres!
Yes, there you go.
Let's go.
That's San Diego
My
fans
wife
for you.
always makes fun of me because anytime I see someone wearing Lakers, Padres, or Chargers gear, or San Diego State,
Yeah.
I'll be like, "Go State!" or like, "Go Chargers!"
And they're like,
95% of the time, they barely give you a nod or realize. First, they don't really know I'm talking to
right,
them.
right, right.
And then second, Amy's like, they don't remember they're wearing a Padres
Yeah,
hat.
yeah, yeah. Shoot,
But I still try.
that's
You know, I
funny.
care. Gotta spread the Padres love.
Of course, man.
One game over 500,
Come on.
7.5 games behind the Dodgers. Is that accurate?
I have no idea.
Something like that.
I can relate to that. I wear a San Diego State hoodie.
Uh-huh.
Cause,
Let's go Aztecs.
but like,
No?
you know, I didn't graduate. You know what I'm saying? It's like I didn't even go there.
Well, dude,
I just have family who works there, and they get like free merch.
I'm a huge Aztecs basketball fan.
Yeah.
Made it to the Final Four 2 years ago.
Dang.
Last year, Sweet 16 again.
Oh yeah.
We went to a game. They played against GCU,
Uh-huh.
Grand Canyon University, and GCU is an incredible fan base. Like so loud.
Uh-huh.
All these crazy Christian kids. They call themselves the Havocs.
Okay.
Student section is incredible. And I'm like the only loud San Diego State fan, like yelling, and it's like dead silent. That was great.
San Diego fans
Amy's
are
like,
chill.
"Please sit down, stop."
Does she get embarrassed?
It was great. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Also, it's hard not to be when you got a guy this loud around, you know?
It's great though.
How's your cafe?
Too. A cafecito. So good.
How you doing, man?
Young YouTubers.
What's up, bro? How's your day going? Good to hear, man. Stay safe.
So there's this new gym coming in.
Are you gonna go there? 3 in a row right here. How you doing, bro? Let's do 3 for 3, dog.
Dude, you got to do a count.
What you
Like how
want?
many fist bumps you can get. That'd be great. Shoot.
How you doing, bro? Have a good day.
Did he get it?
Dude, 4 for 4.
4.
Let's go.
Here comes 5, bro. Here comes 5. Lois.
With the baby?
Maybe not.
Small chance.
Lois.
Have a good day.
Hi, thank you too.
Thank you. Let's go 5 for 5, dog. Don't doubt. Don't doubt.
5, Grace? What? Get in there, get your 6.
Dude, these are sick. What's up, bro? Dude, this place is so sick. How long have you had this? You a Tar Heels fan? You a Tar Heels fan?
Yeah,
got
it's
the
just
hat?
not my thing.
Oh, you did?
For sure. No, this is great.
bro. That's dope. This is your space? Dude, so dope.
Yes.
Do you work on
Yes.
any car?
This is great.
Wild card vibe is
Like if you sprinkle that in every episode, like just go for a walk before or whatever, that's
Is
fun.
it like a lot of body shop work? No way. What's PPF?
I should have shot.
Can I open it? He's a good dude, man. Angel. Abe. Abe. Do you need another churchgoer?
No. They're working through. We battle during worship. It's like who can be louder.
You got a touch card on you, bro?
Bro, this is beautiful. It smells so good in there too. Let's go, bro. You see in there? It's nice. It's smart. This is such a dope space, bro. Thanks for taking a second. Have a good one, man. God bless, Angel. Yes, sir. I saw you just keep walking.
Yeah, we're like, no, but we're saying like this is fun. This is what makes it special to see your
podcast?
personality.
Oh, it's fun.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the secret sauce of you, not being a good interviewer, just being fully Wendell at all times. The youth pastor Wendell.
How are you doing today? Thirsty? Can I get you a water? All right. Dude, that guy is so cool. Gracias, amigo.
Pásenle.
I don't know whose this is, but somebody can have mine. I'm gonna give this one to her. Are you gonna be able to sleep with your coffee this late?
This late?
What time is it?
What time do you think it is? It's like, I have no idea what time it is. I can have coffee up until like 7 p.m. is like the last time I'll have
That's
coffee.
pretty late, bro.
Yeah?
That's impressive.
Yeah, I guess. I built like a tolerance
Yeah,
at this
I guess.
point. I don't think it's impressive. I think it's concerning. But this is world class, bro, and I'm excited. I'm excited to be here, man.
So we were just talking about, and God bless every pastor and church leader who does this. And if you're unfamiliar with it, that's also okay. But just talking about, can you do the spiel?
I can do the spiel.
Yeah, go for it.
Wendell, first of all, I want to thank you. Big fan of what you're doing, what you're building. It's world class. Honor to be here. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. It's like a thing, you know?
And I think it's well-meaning.
Sure.
But it's interesting when it becomes a shtick that just everyone says.
Right. Well, I when
Am I
it's,
comfortable yet in my chair? I can't tell.
you look great.
Okay.
It's half the battle.
It is.
Looking
What's
great.
the other half?
I don't know. You find out in post.
What's the battle?
What is the battle? Yeah, what is the battle? Dude, how's your coffee?
It's so good. Wait, but
It,
it's half.
feeling good is half the battle.
Okay.
At all
Feeling good.
times. At all
And
times.
but I do want to try to figure out. This is getting me good. What is the battle?
What is the battle? The battle is the Lord's.
No, I'm being serious. What like when we say the saying, you just said to me,
Yeah.
feeling good is half the battle. What's the
You know
battle?
what? I think because we're like in this space, I think of Sundays. I say that every Sunday. It's like, how you feeling? I feel good. Yeah, dude, that's half the battle, bro.
Okay.
It's like if you bring that energy with you, oh
Yeah.
my God, everything else is like it's influenced by it. That's half the battle.
So in this context, the battle is whatever you might be going through.
Whatever it is that you're setting your hands to at the moment, it's like
Yeah.
multiple battles a day, and that might be like an extreme word, but like it just kind of flows. It's like just like feeling good's half the battle. Like is it tough? Sure. It's gonna be exhausting. Sure. It's like we're doing a podcast. We're having a conversation. We're kind of flowing. But like I feel good. Do you feel good?
I feel great.
That's half
Did
the
you ever
battle.
see What About Bob with
What
Bill
About Bob?
Murray?
No.
It's basically
It'll be on the
he's seeing
screen.
yeah, it'll be right here, Matt. But Bill, actually, this would be great to throw in, Matt, if you can find it. I don't know how the rights work, but Bill Murray is seeing a psychiatrist. He's obviously world class. Have you seen any of his films?
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's great.
But he walks around. He got this from the psychiatrist, and he walks around the office, and then it ends up becoming kind of his mantra of life. He goes, "I feel good. I feel great. I feel wonderful. I feel good." So anyway,
That's great.
you made me think of it. So
Yeah.
I would like us to start the podcast saying that together 10 times.
It's half the battle. Yeah, I'm in.
But-
This is your space. I'm along for the journey.
It's actually your space that
It's
you're
actually our
inviting us
space,
into.
yes.
But yeah.
Welcome.
Well, we should start with thankfulness, even
Yes.
though we already started. What are you thankful for today?
You know, I thought about this because you're so consistent in that. Like, I think every time we connect, I'm already triggered into thankfulness. When I think of Wendell, I think, what am I thankful for? So I'm prepared this time. I'm grateful for new friends. I think this season is like, I mean, I have great friends. The friends that I have right now, like they've been with me for a long time. They've been with me through a lot. But in the past couple of months, I feel like God has brought in some new friends, meaning like just people that are like reaching out, that are being friendly, being generous, being kind. And it's like, wow, like I'm open. I receive it. So I'm super grateful for that. What are you grateful for?
Thankful for a lot. Thankful to be here with you. Thankful we got Jesse and Matt doing all this
Yes.
for us, and really thankful. I got to go to a Padres game last night. The Padres won on a walk-off hit by Profar.
Let's go.
And it was my first time, as you know, taking my entire family, and my boys loved every
That's
second.
special.
Got the souvenirs, wore their SD hats. San
Yes.
Diego proud. Let's go.
Let's go. Best city in the world.
Dude, it is.
Yeah. Most expensive city in
It
America.
is, right? It just...
Yeah, last
You know
year.
what's... Have you heard this? And I do want to talk about San Diego being the most expensive city. But I feel like almost everyone that you talk to these days, at least for me, I would say, almost everyone I talk to, talks about how their county or their city is now the most expensive.
Sure.
I've probably heard it about like 15. But I actually do believe, and I have seen some studies, that San Diego is.
Yeah. I mean, everyone can say that, right? But I think that's opinion-based. Everybody loves their city. But they just released this thing, right? They put on the list, and San Diego is the most expensive and the funnest. And, I mean, I think it goes hand in hand. I mean, San Diego's got the beaches. We got the weather. So much good. It's growing fast. But, yeah, it's expensive. It's expensive to be here.
In the San Diego Zoo,
The zoo,
Legoland,
SeaWorld.
SeaWorld.
Border town, go to Mexico whenever. It's great food. The beaches are wild. Good coffee.
Obviously, we went to... Now I'm going to say it correctly. Hinar.
Hinar. Yeah, there you go.
We went there. Where else do you go for coffee here? We kind of already talked about it. But.
Shout out. Can I do some shout outs?
Oh, please. Shout out.
Shout
San
out.
Diego Coffee. Watch this.
Shout
If
out.
you want to find a San Diego coffee shop.
Provecho.
Pero, Vecho.
Provecho.
Provecho.
Best coffee in the city.
¿Dónde?
Logan.
Logan Heights?
Barrio Logan, absolutely. Great coffee. It's a buddy of mine, the owner, started with a coffee cart years ago. Now he has this full-on permanent setup inside this like art gallery.
No way.
So it's just the vibes, the excellence of the staff. Like, it's wild. I'm big on that. I'm big on, like, if the owner's not around, you kind of look at the team and you see the culture. They're amazing. They're so kind. They're so professional, and coffee's amazing. So I love it.
Where else?
You know what? I think that's the shout out. But we have great. James Coffee is great.
I love James
We have
Coffee.
Dark Horse, Copa.
Do you like the
here.
James Coffee in Little Italy?
That's like the OG. Yeah,
That's like
I
an old
enjoy it.
hangar, right? That's
Yes,
in
yes.
That spot is sick.
It's one of the first coffees that like started building the culture here in San Diego. So that was hot back in the day, and now
when
there's
when
so
was
many.
back in the day?
I want to say, we had interest meetings for like our church there. So we're talking about a few years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago. But like since then, there's so many coffee shops that opened up. There's like
Yeah.
a bunch. It's everywhere, and I love it. I mean, we're about supporting. Like every time we see a new one, I have one of my friends, Enoch, you've met.
Yeah.
Big beard.
He's a good
He'll
dude.
just
What's
send
up,
me a
Enoch?
list. Shout outs.
Te amo.
He just has a list of coffee shops, and we just go to it seems like there's a new one every month. I love it. It's great.
I do feel like when I was working at PushPay up in Seattle, people, because if you live in Seattle, you have to come somewhere to see the sun. People would come, and I used to have this massive list, but now I've been gone for too long, 8 years.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about. But have a massive list of coffee shops and beaches.
That's a great idea.
And restaurants.
I'd like
But
to see that list.
I'll find
Even
it.
as a local,
It's in
like
my
I want to
email.
see like the world through Wendell's eyes. that'd be interesting.
Have you ever been to Campfire up in Carlsbad, the restaurant?
No.
It's a really cool spot. It's far
Up
north.
where?
It's in Carlsbad.
Yeah,
it's in
no,
like
I'm in
downtown
San Diego.
Carlsbad, yeah.
That's
in San Diego?
That's Carlsbad.
It's San Diego County.
I mean, sure, but it's like when people say like, "Hey, I'm in San Diego," and it's Carlsbad.
Fair enough.
But then again, like I meet people, they're like, "Dude, I'm moving to San Diego," and it's like North County. For some people, North County is San Diego.
Yeah, like you can, like I grew up in San Diego. My
Yeah.
address was San Diego, but it's
Right.
30 minutes from downtown.
And like
yeah.
downtown is San Diego as well,
Yeah.
which I love. But like I think for us who like grew up in like in the South,
Right.
South Bay, it's like this is San Diego, and then like North County, it's like North County. But no, I love. It's beautiful. I just went to the Del Mar Fair last Sunday. It was
Dude.
great. So special.
I drove by it the other day, and it's so nostalgic. Did you grow up going at all?
Yeah, I go every year since we moved to the States. It's like such an American thing to do.
Go to the fair?
And I was just talking about it with my wife and my kids, and we had a few of our friends, and I'm like, wow, like this is like I feel like I made it when I go to the fair. I feel like I'm in a movie, like in like Sandlot. It's beautiful, the rides, and now going with the kids and eating the food. It's special.
Dude, going to the fair every year was so fun to
Yes.
me. Going on rides, seeing who you're going to meet and talk to.
But what do you think about those
best.
rides, though? I've seen too many videos now. Like, do you get on the rides?
They're a little scary.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about, safety?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I haven't been to a fair in so long. I would say I moved out of San Diego in 2017, June 1st, which is now my middle son's birthday. So really easy to remember.
That's great.
But I think I've maybe been back to the fair.
Well, were you talking to the audience? Like, to the live
Talking to
crowd?
everybody in the crowd. Keep looking at the camera.
The live crowd,
Yeah. To all 28
28.
subs. No, we had 28.
We hit 29 today.
We hit 29
Let's
today.
go. That's good. That's good.
But yeah, I haven't really been to a fair in a long time.
Man, you got to come back. You got to come
I
back
do.
and check it out.
Is it still going right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
It goes most of the summer.
It usually ends July 4th. This year's going to end in July 7th.
Yeah.
Not
You
sponsored.
mentioned when you moved to the United States,
Yeah.
your immigration story. You were in junior high or high school?
Yeah, I was in 8th grade. So it was
Okay.
the last year of middle school, of junior high.
Yeah.
I grew up right across the border in Tijuana, TJ, the home of the best tacos in the world.
I agree.
And we were living in TJ, and my dad worked in the States. And it's so wild, right? Both my parents met. They were university professors. My dad has multiple degrees, but he would make more money bagging groceries in the States than being a professor in a university. So he made that decision for us to say, hey, you know what? Like, I'm going to like walk away from a lot of my accomplishments to give my children a better opportunity. So he started working in the States. He would cross every day and then drive back to Mexico. And then 9/11 happened. And before 9/11, he would be able to cross the border in about 45 minutes. On 9/11, he went to work. He was in line at the border for 11 hours.
Oh my God.
So once he crossed the border, he just called my mom and said, hey, I'm not coming back for a while until we figure this out. He was the breadwinner of the family. My mom worked as well, but he was bringing more money. So he stayed in with a few friends, and we made the decision to move. So we crossed over, and we've been here since. And this San Diego then became our home now. I think I've been longer in San Diego now that I've been in Mexico, but all my family's over there. My mom doesn't speak English. My dad speaks a little. So we're able to keep the language going, which is a huge part of the culture, our inheritance. But yeah, we come from there and ended up here in San Diego.
Do your daughters speak Spanish?
I'm teaching them a little bit. But it's funny because for me personally, I don't know if you can hear a little bit, but I have a bit of an accent. I don't know if you've noticed this. Probably like, where's this guy from? From Mexico. So coming to the States, it did affect my self-esteem a little bit because I would struggle to communicate with people. So I'll be at school, and every once in a while, you will say things in a funny way. So, for example, I'll say the number 13, and I would say 13, which is funny now. And every once in a while, even now, it kind of slips. But when you're young, you take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
And it kind of got in my head. So when I had my daughters, I'm like, well, they're going to live in America. They're going to live in the States. So I'd rather them have English as their first language. Mm-hmm. And it's okay if they have an accent in Spanish when they communicate with, like, their grandparents and, you know, my family. But because we're going to live here and stay here, I'm like, I want English to be their first language, and then they would learn Spanish. So they're in the process of learning right now, and it's cute.
We were just talking because, you know, Josh, co-founder of the studio, and he
Yeah.
speaks Portuguese and Spanish, about the similarities between Portuguese and Spanish.
Yeah.
But you had mentioned that you feel like Portuguese is so hard.
It is. It sounds beautiful. Something about Portuguese, like you speak a little bit of Portuguese.
A tiny bit, yeah.
Give me a few. There you go. How you say that?
Pouco.
So that sounds like un poco, which is
Yeah.
a little. So I understand, but it just seems so complicated. But it's very like melodic. It's very, I think, very romantic.
Yeah, it sounds very European, which obviously pretty much every language.
Yeah.
But it sounds,
Yeah.
I feel like American English and then South American Spanish and Brazilian Portuguese.
Yeah.
They, I don't know, with Copa America happening, I feel like I have this like new pride in all the Americas.
Yeah.
And the U.S. playing in it. I don't know, but I feel like Portuguese for me, even the Brazilian Portuguese, it makes me feel like I'm talking to a European.
Yes. That's great. I love it.
Yeah,
I love that.
it's fun.
Heck yeah.
Dude, we forgot to take these. We got, what was it called again?
Is this a new sponsor of the pod?
Yes, we're sponsored by, how would you say this? Jai Juice? How would you say it?
I have no idea.
You got to
Jai Juice. You know what? Maybe let's not promote them. Don't send them to the. I have no idea what they stand for.
No, neither
but
do
these
I.
are some lemon, ginger, orange detox shots.
But it said underneath it when we bought it, there was something about it that we were intrigued. It was going to, like, anti-inflammatory. That's why we got it.
Anti-inflammatory. Yes,
So
absolutely.
This is going to cause our conversation to get even gooder.
Yeah. Are you just
ready?
gonna like go for it all the way,
Oh, did you not want to?
bro?
I thought we had agreed that we would.
Oh yeah.
I'm kidding.
Is that what I signed earlier?
Yeah.
Got it.
That was the NDA.
That was the NDA. Mira, salud.
I can't do it.
It's not set up like that.
No, it's
I think this is good. I'm good. This actually is not bad. It's actually not bad.
no, it's not, but it's really strong. When you said you were good, you mean like you're not going to drink anymore?
Like I'm good. It just didn't
How
flow
good,
out
dog?
naturally like I expected.
No. I was really worried I was going to spill it on myself.
I was like, don't spill on your shirt. All right, let's keep going. For the whole experience, okay? It's like, okay, you do you, bro.
This is so silly. Oh, you win.
Bro, nah.
Warning. This product has not been pasteurized and therefore
God.
may contain harmful bacteria that can cause serious illness in children, the elderly, like you,
We should have.
and persons with weakened immune systems.
We should have read that prior.
Yeah. It's kind of good. That was way harder to drink, though. A little spicy.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty good though.
Yeah, it's great.
Or to feel
So
better.
thank you for opening up this church building for us.
Of course.
You planted the church in San Diego now 3 years ago.
Yes.
What's
Yes.
the experience been like?
You know what? I always say it like this to encourage church planters. It's better than you think. It's funner than you think. It's easier than you think. Everything that's worth doing is hard at first, but I think like when it's a genuine God call, it does get easier. Now, if you're doing something and it just stays difficult forever, maybe like
Maybe it's not a
pause,
genuine God call.
Take a step back and be like, no. But I mean, everything worth doing, not just church planting, marriage, starting a business, friendship, starts difficult, but then you pick up momentum. And I think with 3 years now into it, it's been the best. It's been the most rewarding birth out of a season of pain. And I think that's why for us, like we have like this motto of like, we're good company. We feel like difficult seasons attract good company. And it's almost like we found our tribe in doing it. And now we're in it. We're literally in this space in the heart of the city, which is for me, it's a miracle. And I love it.
How do you say miracle in Spanish?
Milagro.
Milagro?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to guess it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you started the church, I remember we were talking and you had been an executive pastor at a different church here
Yeah.
in San Diego County, and without having to get into any details, it
Yeah.
didn't end well.
Yeah.
And there was a ton of pain there.
Sure.
Something I think that's been coming up a lot in my conversations lately is the concept of calling, and you kind of pointed at it. Do you feel like, I think there's a differentiation between something being hard and you're supposed to do it and something being hard and it's your calling. Do you feel like this is your calling? You're supposed to be a local church pastor.
Absolutely. And it could sound borderline arrogant, right? To say like, yeah, I know for sure this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But there's this beauty in feeling this pull versus forcing a push.
What do you mean by feeling a pull?
I feel like I served at a church and I worked there for 15 years. My first position there was janitor. And from janitor, I ended up as executive pastor the last 3-4 years that I was there. And you fall in love with a people. You fall in love with a flock that you serve and that you pastor. And when that season ended, my wife and I mean, this isn't a decision that I took, lightly or alone. My wife and I, we went to prayer and we sought counsel. And there was this fire within us. And it's like, would we be okay not doing this? Would we be more satisfied pursuing something else that would be easier, or maybe just joining somewhere else? But we saw this space that was missing in our city. We visited a few churches and we realized, though there are incredible churches in our city, there wasn't one that was for us, just for us. Mm-hmm. Not just for us being a family. It has to do a lot also with I believe the transition of generations. We're millennials coming in, and you're seeing it across the board in all industries. Millennials are stepping into positions of influence. And in our particular city, a lot of the churches in I would say the average age is of a lead pastor is 50 plus. So as we started looking around for churches where we could identify, we didn't find it. And I'm like, there's no way we're the only ones that are searching for community of people that are in our age and stage of life with young children, passionate to take the hill and to reach people. And we said, oh, hey, let's see it. Let's knock on this door and see if it opens. And we started with 7 people around the dinner table. And we're 3 years into it, in 2 locations and 2 languages. And there is this like ease that comes, I believe, with every call that God gives. There's that ease that happens when He steps in and He's fully in control. And yeah, you'll go through your challenges like anything, but you see miracle after miracle more often than not. And that's how we feel it.
Milagro.
Milagros.
How would you say miracle after miracle?
Milagro tras milagro.
Milagro
Tras
milagro.
milagro. You see, they happen more often than you think.
They do. Every day, man. Dude, every
Absolutely.
day. Like, I've been thinking a lot about this, especially as it pertains to calling, because I think for me, growing up in the church, it was such an elusive term. You know, it seemed so grand and so big. The concept of what are you called to do? And it has to be, for me, and I think similar to you, people who grew up in church or went into ministry at a young age, I always thought it was going to be like if you write a book, or if you are a traveling communicator for the sake of the gospel, and there's hundreds of people storming the front to receive Jesus because God used your gift, or you're in a church that's just exploding with growth. And obviously there's other ways, but I think, I don't know, man, as I've aged, I found calling to be more simple.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's divorced from, you know, planting a church or for me starting a business, like because those are bigger things as a pioneering thing. But the other day I was talking with a friend about the concept of calling being just being the person I need to be today.
Yeah.
Like being the husband, being the father, being the friend, being the boss.
Yeah.
Or the colleague that I need to be today. I feel like, I don't know if you feel this way, but sometimes calling can be such an intense word. You feel that way at all?
I feel like it's important for us to decide who defines certain words in our lives.
What do you mean?
I think every single person should define what calling means for them and not adopt someone else's definition of success, someone else's definition of failure. Because if you think about it, like, yeah, we grew up, both you and I mean, I remember going to, when you were a youth pastor, you would put on events, and I would take my team of leaders to go check it out. And, man, you had hundreds of students there. It was amazing. You're no longer doing that at the moment. So is that a failure? Well, it depends on who determines and defines that.
Growing up in church is so beautiful, and I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It is.
And so wild. Even the intro to the podcast, how many little things we could do. What was the other one? The Instagram post where you put your arm around a pastor and point at him?
And then you point. And then the caption's got to be like with this legend.
Dude, this legend right here.
Bro,
big
with
things,
the legend.
They're killing it. Da-da.
And it's all very aggressive language, right?
Yeah.
They just killed it. What? They killed it?
Okay, and this is an interesting rabbit hole to go down, but something that I care about. And there's no shame for any pastor or church leader who does this.
Sure.
It's an observation. How do you feel about when someone posts about how many salvations and baptisms? Because sometimes to me, I'm like, dude, this is a little bit weird.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about anybody specific, because similar to these other things we said, pretty much anyone could have or probably did say something, but like, biggest weekend ever, 2,000 in attendance, 500 saved, 300 baptisms.
Yes.
We're taking the kingdom by storm.
Yes.
Revival.
I love it. Yeah, like you said, right, with all the context of like, if that's you, I love it, right?
Yeah.
I'm an introvert. And
When we started the podcast, I was like, bro, I just want to laugh.
You're
And you're like,
eccentric?
I think you're funny. And then you're like, I'm an introvert.
I think you're funny. I love surrounding myself with people like yourself. That's why I love you so much. Like, it's so fun because, you know, I'm a great listener, you know, and I just want to hear. All that to say, it's like I think God can use all types of personalities. And then when I see those types of posts, that's not something that I personally do because it's not my personality. I think that God can work with all types of personalities, but sometimes there's like an attitude that goes with it that kind of shines. And I'm like, dude, love it, celebrate it. Like you're celebrating good things. I don't know who you're saying that to. Like my dad doesn't have social media, so I don't post like happy birthday dad because like I feel like that would not be genuine. Like he's not gonna see this post. So when people post that, I'm like, who's this for? Who's the audience for this? It's like I love it. I love that you're doing it. I celebrate that. That's great.
Have you seen the Preachers in Sneakers
Yeah.
Instagram account?
Oh yeah.
Have we
Not
talked
in a
about
while
this
though.
before?
No, I don't think we did. But I mean, I haven't seen. Have you seen it? Are they still
I mean,
active?
I had it's a guy. I don't
Yeah.
know his name, but I don't even remember where he's from. He's an American dude.
Yep.
I think from the South.
Yeah.
He just started posting it. I don't follow it actively,
Right.
but I think it is a really interesting narrative
Yes.
on where not every, but many evangelical church leaders are in regards to the garments that they put on. And I
Yeah.
love cool clothes.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I actually think that a workman is worthy of his wages.
Yeah.
And I think to live and survive in the United States today more than ever,
Yeah.
at least in my lifetime, in your lifetime, we talk inflation and real estate is crazy. It's weird to be old enough to even talk like that. The stock market.
Yes.
The Dow Jones is down.
I love it.
How's your Roth IRA? But
I love that.
I do think it's interesting.
Yeah. And on that, I mean,
It's a tough situation.
It
and some of
is.
these guys I'm friends with.
yeah.
and
But
Maybe
it's,
a
but
little
it's
bit more
genuine. Like I feel like this is you, on camera and off camera. We've hung out, and like this is probably the first time that our conversations recorded. But
Yeah.
we'll go to a coffee shop, and like you have great style, you care about it. When it gets a little bit difficult, though, it's because I believe that the mega church, or I would say like the mega church leaders have become the unofficial spokesman for our faith.
Exactly.
And so few speak for so many. And if you are not secure about your identity and what you bring to the table, if you're insecure, you will think, I need to wear what they're wearing. I need to sound like they sound in order for me to have access. That's where it gets dangerous, right? Because I feel like the beauty of the gospel is that it's for everybody. It's not a one size fits all. It's a one size fits one. So we do need people that don't wear the brands, that don't have the sneakers, that could care less. Because who's going to reach the people that could care less about those types of things? And we need everybody to stay as genuine and authentic. So it's valid that you love what you love, but we should encourage everybody to be themselves.
Yeah. It's tough, and I think you said it so well, that so few represent so many. Even recently, the story of Robert Morris that came out, bro.
Yeah.
Did you read about that?
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
It's hard to believe.
It's hard to believe.
And on the other
Yeah.
side of it, as terrible as that is, it's not that hard to believe, which is unfortunate with how many leaders fall.
Yeah.
And that one is especially gutting because of it's an underage girl. That's incomparable
Right.
to an affair.
As
in
a
my
father
mind.
at this point, right? Like as a father now you think, and it's even difficult to try to think about it long enough because I can't help but to think that what would I do as a dad if that happened to one of my daughters? So it is sometimes unfair how much attention we will put sometimes on the offender, and we forget that there are so many people that go nameless and faceless that are attached to the pain. We experienced it, very close, some along those lines. And I think what people look at is the headlines. And sometimes the commentary is motivated to make a point, but not really motivated to make a difference. That woman in this particular situation is, I'm sure, has got family that's been affected by it. I'm sure there's a lot of other people. Then you think of pastor and his family, and sometimes we just put things out there and we don't realize, like, it's a painful situation and it affects more people than we will ever know. But it is unfortunate, like you said, that it's so often that it happens. On the flip side of that, I've heard it said, and it brings me hope to know that, yeah, though there is a lot of these stories that are coming out, there's so much more stories, so many more stories of pastors and leaders who love their families, who have kept the faith, who are finishing the race strong. I think of your parents, heroes, building a healthy church, raising a great family and community. And for me, those are the types of testimonies that I want to hear. I think as a dad now, I changed.
And these aren't celebrated.
No.
And anywhere near the scale
Right.
of, and I understand with the depravity of the situation we're talking
Sure.
about, to the best of my understanding, it's necessary that there's levels of publicity.
Yeah.
It's just
100%.
unfortunate as the family of believers
Yep.
that there's very little celebration
Yeah.
as compared to how vast some level of, it's beyond moral failure, this situation, but just moral failure,
Yes.
for lack of a better term,
Yes.
is pushed
Yeah.
across media and
Yeah.
across the body of Christ.
Yeah. And it goes back to, I think, like, the testimony effect. For me, it's I grew up in a church where every Sunday, right, there's a story, and it's like amazing story.
Yeah.
Love the stories, right? People that go through incredible circumstances, challenging circumstances. I was an addict. I did X, Y, Z, and then now, my life was changed. And for me, that used to fire me up. And it still fires me up. I love seeing stories of life transformation. But again, the filter has changed. I don't want my daughters to have that story. I want my daughter's testimony to be, I stayed in school, I stayed the path, and God still gets glorified. And I think we should just make a big deal about that as well. It's not either or, it's both and.
It's so funny, the testimonial thing. I remember growing up at church. I don't know if you had this experience, but for sure, I remember some dude in high school or college or even older, obviously, would come along as I was growing up in church and have the craziest testimony. Like, I was dealing drugs.
You're like, am I an accomplice now? Like, do I know too much?
I was stealing cars, the craziest stuff. I was giving the middle finger to God every morning or whatever that means. And I always thought that was cool, and that my upbringing was not as special because I didn't have this radical transformation, and I didn't go down this like terrible path. Yeah. The irony of it all for me is, and you and I have talked about this a bunch of times, the longer that I have followed Jesus, the more I've realized how much I need him. And how broken I am. And I mean, Jesus talks about it, all sin is the same before God. But it is funny. Did you ever have those kinds of experiences where you hear this crazy testimony? You're like, dude, I just opened my Bible and went to church today.
You know what? This is out there. My brother was the. This is a testimony about my brother.
Paco?
My brother Paco. Shout out Paco. He was the creative director at a previous church, and I remember he was recording a testimony. Kid you not, this gentleman started basically confessing his testimony, talking about something that he did, and praising God because he hadn't gotten caught on camera. And as he's sharing his testimony, I remember seeing the video crew just kind of looking at each other. It was funny. And he was like, man, I did this, and man, praise God, his grace on my life. I never got caught. And we're mandatory reporters, so we had to report it, and I believe that he had to do some time for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's real.
So my laugh was very presumptive. I didn't think it was quite at that level.
No, yeah, it
Oh,
was.
God.
It was a crime that he needed to pay his dues to society. So yeah, I have had those kinds of stories.
Oh, no.
So yeah.
I'm trying not to laugh, but I can't help. I don't know what else to say.
Hey, you know what? But it's a great testimony. He loves the Lord.
Okay.
He's doing great.
And it worked out?
And it worked out.
Do you ever watch The Office?
Of course.
I'm a big Office fan, and my
Yes.
wife will laugh. Amy, if you happen to be watching this episode, we'll see. Maybe you're one of our 29 subscribers. Maybe you could become number 30. But we watch The Office religiously.
Yeah.
And there's the episode where he says that you have immunity if you share anything that you've done in the past.
I love that episode.
It's like someone sharing their testimony on camera.
Yes.
And they confess to a crime and they have to get reported is the weirdest situation ever, but grateful that
I love
justice
it.
was served.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yikes.
So that happened.
So I need to move on because I can't help but laugh about
We can go deeper. We can go deeper
awkwardness.
into that. We can go deeper into that.
I did want to circle back though around where kind of pastoral leadership is today because I really care,
Yeah.
man. You and I talk about this all the time every time we get together.
Yes.
There's nobody like Jesus. There's nobody more beautiful.
Yeah.
There's no historical figure that can do for you what Jesus can do for you. Yet, and I love this phrase. I hadn't really thought about it. I think I might have heard it before, but what you said, that so little speak or so few speak for so many.
Yep.
And I'm definitely an optimist in that I always will fill spaces of ambiguity with trust. Like I want to assume the best about people. Obviously, if someone is proven wrong or there's a crime, there's a different situation. It needs to be dealt with properly and justice needs to be served. But there's probably a lot of these, pastors who would not consider themselves, higher following or influential, that whether they're dressing really well and wearing Gucci and Prada on stage is totally another conversation for preachers and sneakers to deal with. But man, I feel like the evangelical stream in the United States, there's some level of change that's happening. And I'm just hopeful that good change comes.
Yeah.
Not to say that I'm the expert or that I have it sorted out, but I do think that there's certain things that would be common, like the way that certain pastors would dress. And again, if they made the money, if they did things, but there should be maybe certain things that I would hope more church leaders would have pause.
Yeah.
And as you're planning a church in San Diego, do you feel like when you look at a leader who, in your estimation, and this is not you publicly shaming someone on a podcast, but in your estimation would be stepping outside of their sphere or stepping outside of their zone or their grace, kind of what you talked about, like who they really are, will God just correct that? Or does someone need to go and talk to them and be like, hey, you're misrepresenting Christianity. You're misrepresenting the gospel.
Yeah. No, that's great. I think that there is nothing that happens in private that doesn't eventually come to light. God can't be mocked. And I can't do a better job than the Holy Spirit at convicting people. I think one of the first questions that I get from the evangelical camp, especially when we started the church, the number one question is like, who's your covering? Who's your pastor? And that's like a buzz thing. I'm not knocking on accountability, but I could tell you that 100% of the stories that have made headlines in the past decade of moral failures have all had board of directors, spiritual accountability. But if it's not a choice, it doesn't matter what the setup looked like on the outside. Accountability starts with you. Starts with you being accountable to you. You're being accountable to God over what you do in private. That's the bottom line. I don't think that calling anybody out,
It doesn't work.
because it goes back to it, right? You have this log in your eye. We all have something.
Yep.
But if anything, I think we should just level the arena and understand that we're all the same. And we all have a different grace of the amount of people that we can reach. But it's the metrics, I believe, that we have stated as a global church of success, that I believe that entice leaders to step out of their gray zone to accelerate their process.
Like the metrics of church growth. And
That's
again, I
it.
think the concept that thousands of people would be a part of one individual church, ecclesia, is actually beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think there are definitely some mega churches that are doing it well. And they
Yeah.
have leaders who are graced for it, who God has given the ability to lead, and they have the structure. And to your point, I love that. It's not just about having a board or having a pastoral team or a counselor, but actually having the conviction yourself. I feel, and I would hope, that those that don't have the right heart or step outside of their sphere, God will remove them
Yeah.
however he does it, which he obviously does.
Yeah.
And then it will reveal the ones who have been given that grace.
Absolutely. And I think it's no pastor that I know goes into planting a church with failure in mind, with a
Right.
moral failure. It always comes out with from a good heart. But something happens that success comes based on the metrics, right? You have magazines that publish every year fastest growing churches in America.
I feel like that's such a,
Yeah.
is that really good?
I'll tell you this. The previous church where I worked for 15 years, we made the list about 3 years in a row. And I feel like the highest we got on that list, we were the third fastest growing church in America. But during that time, there was private moral failures happening that nobody was aware of. So then you ask yourself the question, are we a model deserving or being placed as a blueprint for other churches to follow? Are you really growing because you're able to attract people into a physical space when there's brokenness in a marriage, there's brokenness in private? And really, I mean, if you think about it, again, post-pandemic, after 2020, the only metrics that the church uses to measure the success of a church is physical attendance on any given day. Now, you and I are both fans of The Bear, so we're into the whole restaurant thing. Will Guidara is like one of my heroes. Shout out Will Guidara. He listens to the podcast, Unreasonable Hospitality, best-selling book.
Yeah.
He was in the top 50 restaurants in the world. There is such a list. Mm-hmm. And believe you me, the criteria for the best restaurant in the world is not how many people you can get in the door. Because then McDonald's will be the #1 restaurant in the world. So even the world understands that it's deeper than your ability to gather people in a physical location. Because when you just gather people in a physical location, sometimes even the excellence and the quality of service goes down. And it's a very dangerous place where your ability to reach grows beyond your ability to care. So when a church gathers a lot of people, customer service goes down, right? The experience goes down. You can come in and you can leave and you don't feel seen, known, or valued. That is where I believe it's a dangerous space to be. I'm not against it. I'm not against thousands of people gathering. I want the whole world to be reached and cared, but also pastored and discipled.
Bro, you said it so well. It would seem that the only way for these types of situations to be solved, and for what it's worth, unfortunately, they will never be fully solved. There will always be sin in the camp, so to speak. And I am definitely not one to cast the first stone. I have so many issues.
Yeah.
I think the idea that we need to care more about the human beings than about the number of human beings, I think is a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to your point, gathering thousands of people, if you're graced for it,
Yeah.
and if you can sustain that as a leader, is wonderful.
Yeah.
But if the goal is just to be that guy or that girl, that's where I think it could be very dangerous.
It's a great difference between being called to preach and being called to run an organization that serves thousands of people across state lines, online.
Yeah.
How many pastors began just in the local church. Some of them didn't go to Bible college. Some of them don't have degrees. They just had a passion, and their gift brought in so many people. But then we stop growing. I think we become fans of our own success, and we think, hey, what got me here will get me there. Absolutely not. It's a community effort, bringing in people with expertise, and sometimes it's difficult. Once you, as a pastor, you've gotten the church to a certain size.
Yeah.
You know, are you going to submit to other people that have the expertise to be able to maintain the organization? Because at that point, that's what it is. It's an organization. You're talking about staff members, families depend on their payroll. You're talking about parking situations, buildings, like real estate. It's a lot, right? And sometimes not everybody's graced for it, and that's when we see people kind of stumble and fall.
Yeah, I would agree. How many tattoos do you have?
I don't know. I'll be honest, sometimes I forget of a few of them that I have, like, somewhere back here.
Which one's your favorite?
My favorite is my daughter's names. I have Lux, and I have Tiger.
Your daughter's name is Tiger?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
I did not know this.
Yeah, little Tiger.
That's such a cool name.
Yeah.
What's
I
her
have
middle
Lux and
name?
Her middle name is Gun.
Okay, now you're lying.
Tiger Gun. I'll send you when we announce the name. So there is this. The story behind it is that there is this movement of women back in the suffragette era.
The what era?
The ladies that were fighting for rights to vote, and in other nations this was frowned upon. So they were gathering these women and abusing them, locking them up, sometimes ending their lives. And one of the practices to intimidate these women would be, hey, like, we are going to kill all of you, or if one of you steps up and takes the sacrifice for the rest, we'll let the other ones live. And the woman to step up for the other women was considered a gun. It's kind of like the word that they would use to call and honor this woman who would give her life for others. And that's the meaning behind it. But yes, Tiger Gun, little fighter, was 2 months premature, and we lived in the hospital for a couple of months. So she's a fighter. She's wild.
Is that your 5 or your 7?
That's my 5.
Dude,
Yes.
2 months in the
the NICU.
in the hospital.
Yeah, we just lived there, and so since she was born, she's been a fighter. So yeah, I got her names tatted. I have my wife's initials tatted right here. People think it's like Chula Vista, like the city that I live in.
Married to Chula.
Married to, I do say that. We do have like a church location in Chula Vista.
Married to the city.
Married to the city. I'm committed. Are you committed? But yeah, man, I love. What's your favorite tat?
Oh man, I have my wife's name on my bottom.
You do?
Yeah. Wow. I do. Would you like to see?
Oh, I think we
not
can.
for YouTube.
This is DPS After Dark. This is like the behind the scenes.
Yeah, but that was probably
You
my
do
favorite.
for real?
So actually, I was we were at my bachelor party, and I had kind of planned to do it, and my
That's
brother,
great.
who's filming right here, what's up, dog?
Shout out.
He had it planned, and so we went to someplace in downtown San Diego.
Love it.
I don't even remember where. Do you remember this place? I remember the moment. Oh. The cleanest bachelor party. I know.
It's like a Bible study. You guys
Dude,
had
I
prayer?
was such a clean youth pastor.
I love that.
Well, some people
That
had
just sounds like a
champagne.
good time.
Some people had champagne, and some people had Martinelli's. I was a youth pastor at the time. I had to be respectful.
Did you have champagne at all?
I was of drinking age.
You don't need to incriminate yourself
Well,
here
no,
on the pod.
there's no incrimination because I was of drinking age.
Got it.
I don't think I did, because I do remember at first saying no, like no. But then I think at one point, one of my friends or my brothers was just like, bro, it's your bachelor party.
Sure.
You can have a glass of champagne. So I remember I got a second offer. I probably had a couple sips,
Okay.
All right, that's the podcast.
I think we
But
should
anyway,
pray.
we're in downtown San Diego, and we show
And
up
you
to
got it on
we
your
show up,
bottom.
and all the guys are going crazy, whatever. Got Amy in cursive on
In
my
cursive.
butt, and then on our.
I think the team's gonna put it on the screen right now.
Matt,
Let's just
can you
show.
throw up
Matt,
the
can you put it
photo?
on the screen?
But Amy did not believe that it was real on
Yeah.
our honeymoon.
Yeah.
And we had a 21-day honeymoon in Maui, which was the best.
Beautiful.
And she thought it was a henna or something. I'm like, no, it's real. Like, it won't come off. You'll see. But anyway, that's my favorite tattoo.
Does she love it or hate it? Because it's
I think she likes it, but she's like, it's also
She's
kind of
indifferent. She's like,
disrespectful. I was like, that's where you're going to put it? Like, yeah, it's high up.
Oh, it's high up.
It's high cheek.
It's high cheek.
High cheek.
Oh, that's
It's chic, as they
it's
say. It's young YouTube. Watch the earlier part of the episode.
I love it. I love it.
You're talking about having babies. So
Yeah.
our first two babies, my first son, Everett Nash, love you, son, was born here in San Diego County. And then my second was born in Los Angeles.
That's great.
And then my third was born out in Arizona. And when we got married, just, classic young people, you do the hospital. And we've kind of, as we've gone along, my wife has become more and more granola. And so this last one, we did a full home birth. And I was the doula,
Wow,
which was wild.
that's wild.
And I'm curious, do you feel like, okay, I'll also say this. It was probably about a year ago. My wife and I are just driving. We had moved to Arizona at this point, and she's like, I want to own a farm. You know, like when your spouse just randomly says something like, oh, cool, yeah, owning a
Sure.
farm. It sounds
Not
like
my
something I would
spouse,
say, like,
but
I'd
yours.
love to have a beach
Something.
house in
Yeah,
San
yeah, yeah,
Diego.
sure, yeah.
Cool, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see if we do it. But then it became a thing, and very similar to the home birth, where I realized, like, no, this is like her heart. Like, all of a sudden, this is like 100% what she wants. And I'm like shocked. I'm like, wait, you want to be having home births, and we want to have our own cow to milk, so we have raw milk?
Wait, so you were the doula,
I was the doula.
and now you're building the farm.
Well, I don't know if we'll do the farm. I think that my prayers have worked. I would love to have a farm someday, but I feel like a farm necessitates such intense work
Yeah.
on a daily basis with your hands, like
Yes.
waking up every day, and I don't really want that level of commitment.
Sure.
Being a doula is great.
But
Get
do you
to
guys
help
have like
bring my daughter into
chickens
the world.
or anything like that?
And we don't have anything yet.
Nothing yet.
We live in an HOA neighborhood, so you can't really do it.
Got it.
But
That's great.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Has your wife ever done anything like that? Like, because we're both about 11 years into marriage.
Yeah.
And she just randomly brought up something like, dude, I had no idea that you're ever going to do this. Came out of left field.
No, nothing like that would involve like such a drastic change. We're both very similar in what we want. I think we
Yeah.
were very clear in what we wanted out
So
of
you're saying
life.
that my wife and I don't want the same thing?
I just feel like if you ever need counseling, like I'm here for you. Like I'm here to serve. No, but not the farm thing. No. Sometimes we dream about other cities or whatever, but like I don't think I've ever heard anything like that from my wife. She changes on her own. She's in her gym era right now, and it's wild. She wakes up every day at 4, and then
What
goes different gyms. She's into cycling and into yoga. She is I forgot the name, hybrid athlete now. That's what I call her now. Because I saw this guy say I'm a hybrid athlete because they do like different things. Now she does it. She wants me to get into it, but I'm like, that's just not my grace. That's just not my grace. But no, I don't think so. I would like a farm. No, now that you mentioned it,
I would like to have a farm if I
like
could.
a staff.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. Because that would be awesome. Have your own cow and chickens. And you don't necessarily have to have a full farm
Yeah.
to have chickens.
Right.
But I just remember her saying that. It was similar to how I felt when she first told me we were going to have a home birth. I was like, what in the world?
And you went for
but,
it.
bro, it was actually
Were you
so
down?
beautiful.
Oh,
Not
t-
at first. I was so scared, just like
That's
most dudes.
scary,
You know, it's
yeah.
like, what in the world? Like, what if something happens? But as you start to go through, you realize, I mean, just all the material I read and things I listened to and watched, it's very common. And most women who are already healthy
Yeah.
are fully capable of doing it without any complications. Like,
That's
the
great.
numbers speak for themselves. So
Yeah.
obviously there's some people who should not due to health concerns, but Amy was healthy enough. And it was by far the best birth out of the 3.
Wow.
By far. And now
I
for
mean,
whatever ones we have in the future, we'll
you're gonna
definitely
do
do
it?
that again. Which you're going to have more.
But yeah, I'm believing.
5
I'm
more.
believing. We're praying about it. I'm stumbling. Actually, we got like baby fever right now, so we might.
We talked about this.
Should I announce it on the pod already?
You should,
Like,
yeah.
no, this is
Baby
great, though.
do.
Baby do. No, but we have 2 right now. Why not just keep going?
Uno más.
Uno más.
If you had to decide right now,
Yeah.
and Crystal's not backing this, just you.
Sure, yeah.
How many more would you say?
2.
2? Perfecto.
I need the buddy. You know?
Yeah.
I'm baby number 3. I'm like, I have 2 older siblings. And it's like they get along, and then you're like the third one, and you were just like the young one. I feel like I needed a buddy.
Yeah.
So why not? But I'm not doing the doula thing. I'm not. I believe in the medicine and the science. So just like let's just go. My job is to play the Spotify playlist, hold her hand, pray, intercede.
What hospital were your daughters born at?
Mary Burge.
So cool.
Yeah, San Diego. It was great.
San Diego through and through.
It was on a Sunday morning.
For real. And did you preach?
So no, let me. Of course,
You did?
take care of God's house first.
Did
No,
you really?
No. So at the time we had the kids, I still worked at my previous church.
Okay.
So this is, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I remember 2 months early. So my wife woke up about 2 a.m. She's like, I'm having, and I'm just like, babe, it's fine. Like, we're not due for another 2 months. It's not the baby. Then she woke up like at 5:30, 6 with some pain. And I'm like, bro, this is my out of church today. I'm gonna text the guys, hey guys, family first. My wife's not feeling great. We get in the car. She can't even put the seatbelt on. She's fully turned around, holding on. She's going into labor in the car. We get to the lobby, and one of the nurses just looks at her, she's like, you're not looking good. She's like, let me check you out. They go behind the counter. She's like, can I check you? She goes down on her knees, and she's like, I can see the baby. Let's go. We're at the hospital 2 months early. We go into the room, and 30 minutes later, the baby's in my hand.
No way.
Yeah.
Was her doctor there that she?
Nope. No. My baby was born 2 pounds. No. So they were like, Mr. Camacho, here's your baby. Now, this is my second child, so I was ready. I was like this, and my baby fit right here. It was like,
No way.
it was rough. Broke my heart. But, she's perfectly healthy, thank God.
She's so cute, man.
She's a little tank. Love my little Tiggy. But that was wild. No, yeah.
That small?
Yes. It fit right here. It was tiny.
And you just pretty much sleeping at the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah,
For
we
2
didn't leave.
months.
Yeah, we didn't leave. I just go home and change and come back, and we take turns, and just every day. Yeah,
That's
we
crazy.
spent Thanksgiving there, and it was rough.
What was the feeling like when you were able to have her check out?
It's like surreal. It's like you just feel so lucky to that it went well, that it was hard, right? You never want to be, and my heart goes out for everybody who, we just had a friend, it's a church planter in San Diego. He's planting a church right now, and won't go into details. They posted about it, and the baby was born, and was alive for a couple of hours, and it's heartbreaking. So it's definitely just gratitude comes. Never take any day, any person for granted. We've all lost people who we love, that we always assume would be with us forever. You never think that someone's gonna be gone out of your life. Mm-hmm. And for me, those moments when my child was born, I thought like maybe this isn't gonna pan out. So every day is that blessing.
You literally were struggling with the idea that she wasn't gonna survive.
Yeah. You see your child like just attached to all these tubes, and it's as a father, it just breaks your heart. You don't wish that on anybody. But then you see a room, and you're not the only one. The whole NICU is full of families, and you're just sharing pain. And I learned about a lot of great organizations, March of Dimes, people just coming in, giving you goodies and blankets, and then you realize something. And a pastor friend of mine gave me the best advice once I went through the toughest season of my life, which was a transition from church. We went through a very, very painful experience that kind of broke up a lot of things in our family, lost our job, transitioned out. And I called this pastor friend of mine and says, Abe, here's what you need to know. The reason why it hurts so much is because you're realizing you're not special. This happens all the time. Families break up, divorce happens. There's moral failure in the church. He says, now you know. how it feels. And God will use this experience to put something in you that you will never forget the pain that people go through. I feel like working at a church for 15 years full time since I was 18 years old, you definitely get accustomed to the bubble. You definitely get used to just living around people who all they do is live and breathe ministry. But then we forget that there's people who are out there every day just fighting to get through, living paycheck to paycheck, or just believing for their families to get ahead. And it was a reality check for me, absolutely. And I choose to hold on to that thorn and never forget it. Because if I don't choose to humble myself, I've experienced how when God humbles you, yeah, I rather choose humility.
I like that you brought up the thorn. I think about 2 Corinthians 12:9, where Paul writes that there was a thorn in his flesh, and 3 times he asked Jesus to remove it, and each time Jesus basically says no, and he says, my grace is sufficient to you. My power comes into its own in your weakness. And then Paul goes on to write, I love what it says in the Passion Translation. It ends, I don't remember what verse, maybe 11 or 12. It says something to the effect of, my weakness is a portal to God's strength. Man. Growing up in church, I thought that if you check all the boxes that you can kind of circumvent suffering and pain. I mean, everybody goes through some things, right?
Yeah.
Someone that you love might pass, or someone that you cared about might do something that you never thought they would do, and it hurts people. But I thought for the most part, you can kind of live in pain avoidance pretty effectively by following Jesus.
Sure.
And it's really not how it works.
Right.
It's not how it works.
It's not, but I would still encourage everybody to find that mentor and align themselves to somebody, because I think that's the beauty of alignment. It doesn't save you time, but it saves you pain. So yeah, like, it's not perfect, but I choose to learn from the mistakes and pain of those who have gone before me.
Right.
And I will still have to go through the challenges myself, but I'd rather have some wisdom. I'd rather have some people that have been there, done that, and trust, and just say, hey, I believe that. It's not easy. It's not easy. But like you said, this thorn that Paul had, whatever it was, I think it's so present in our lives. And it should remain present. We should be grateful for that thorn and hold on to it dearly, love it, embrace it.
Yeah, I think there's kind of like the one perspective would be ideally you have a father like we both had that we admire.
Yeah.
And other mentors in your life or people that you glean from. It could even be a friend.
Yeah.
That could help you be like, dude, don't go down this road, because there's this interesting, I wouldn't say balance, but I don't know how else I would describe it with grace, where you're always forgiven no matter what through the finished work of Jesus. The other side of it is, if you make certain life decisions, there will be consequences that will bring pain.
Yeah.
If you decide to cheat on your spouse and you get a divorce, God loves you and he forgives you, and you're still welcome, but there's a real consequence that will bring pain that will probably last most of your life.
Yes.
The other side of that being the pain that you have just as a human being that is absolutely unavoidable. And that's the pain I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where it does not matter how great or how small or how good or how bad you are. Like the Bible says, it rains on the just and the unjust.
Yeah.
You are going to go through pain in this life.
Yeah.
But I'll say it for myself, I have found more peace in pain than I ever thought I would. Mm-hmm. Which I wish I could have avoided a lot of it.
Right.
Some of which is avoidable, some of which is not. But man, that the concept of Paul's thorn is so comforting to me.
Yes.
Because Jesus makes it very clear.
Yeah.
Some things will happen, but I am the answer. Not necessarily getting you out of the situation. We've talked about this so many times. Not necessarily answering the prayer, although we believe he will. Yeah. Not necessarily changing the financial situation or the marriage struggle or what's going on in the family. or for guys like us, dreamers and pioneers, like getting through certain stages, although we believe he'll do it, but it's more in the midst of that pain, you realize your need for him.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful.
And it sheds away everything that isn't of him, I believe. Not everybody that started this journey with us is with us. People have walked away. One of the founding members of our church passed away, young man. And then you begin to see how it focuses. Like pain has this way to focus
Bro, yes.
on what really matters. And it's the greatest gift. I wish it could come in a different way. I wish we could just be like smart enough to decipher where to spend our time. But there isn't one person, I hope, that goes through a traumatic situation, a moral failure, a painful situation. It wakes you up. And I've learned in my personal life, the deeper the sleep I'm in, the louder the alarm needs to be. And sometimes I'm just dozing off and God has to wake me up one way or another. So I do not wish that on anybody, that something would happen to them in order to wake up. This is where the daily discipline comes in. This is where personal devotion, not inspiration, but devotion comes in. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Stay focused so you're not forcing God to, in love, leave the 99, go after you, because he will smack you and break your leg to bring you back into the fold. And that's it. But that's it. Sometimes we're the 99, sometimes we're the 1.
Absolutely.
And in the pursuit to stand out, we step out of the 99. When it's in the 99, when we're part of a vision and a calling that is greater than ourselves, that we are safe. There's no such thing as lone sheep, just lone wolves. And sometimes we want to step out, getting ourselves into situations. But the good shepherd is so good that it'll bring us back in.
Dude, there's nobody like Jesus. I think we're always either the 99 or the 1, or a couple verses later. We talked about this at local church once, but you're either the son who left or the son who stayed.
Yeah.
It's interesting that whatever pain you might go through or struggle, I'll make it personal. All the pain that I've gone through and all the struggle I've gone through, to your point, has made me so much more focused on what matters.
Yeah.
Like if you try to be successful and maybe even become successful in any industry, in any ministry, and you come on the other side of it and there's pain associated, and you begin to realize that money or notoriety, being liked, being respected, all those things, they're actually good. They can be good. But they matter so little as compared to just having peace and joy with Jesus every day, being able to look at your spouse with a smile, being attracted to each other, enjoying each other's company, loving your kids and being fully present, not needing to be on your phone. And pain has a way of forcing you to focus.
Yeah. I feel like every emotion is created by God. You know, Satan has no power to create, only distort. Sometimes we shy away from fear and pain, but if it exists, it was created. And I feel like even those emotions sometimes are stronger than happiness that is shallow or excitement that is fleeting. So I lean into even what I would consider negative, because I'm like, if I feel it, I will sit with it and allow God to use it to bring me. Because every storm is God ordained or God allowed. So if I'm going through it and I'm feeling it, let me just lean into God so that I can learn my lesson. And to tie it in with the whole thing of, Yeah, the pain that was caused by leaders in the church. We were supposed to trust. We're supposed to trust these leaders. It's not a sin to trust. It's not wrong to trust. And we do need men and women to step into positions of influence, to preach the gospel boldly, because they were disciples of John before they were disciples of Jesus. They had to follow and know and trust the man they could see before they could follow the God they couldn't. And once Jesus stepped into the scene, they're like, are you the one we've been hearing about? But they would never have heard about it if there wasn't just a human boldly crying out, being a voice in the wilderness.
It's an interesting through line as well to calling, what you said. Been talking a lot with you, other friends, my brother, with Matt. If God has graced you to do something, and if you are a follower of the way of Jesus, ultimately whatever you do is preaching. And my hope would be that there would be more leaders, more entrepreneurs, more artists, more pastors, more young people. And what's crazy is, like, it's our turn. It's millennials now. We're old enough now where the leaders that we're meeting, you know, CEOs and pastors and culture makers are our age.
Right.
And the onus is on us.
Yeah.
To tell people who Jesus is by the way we live our life, and to be
Yes.
the type of leaders that are willing to not just say they're accountable, but want to be accountable.
Yeah.
And recognize the brokenness.
Yeah.
Something I appreciate about our relationship. It's like, we don't have it together yet.
Right. And we never will.
No. We need Jesus every day.
Yes.
And I think that the future of the church is bright. Because you talked about this a lot in regards to what's going on in local, but going public requires God to have done something with you in private. Like, you couldn't have ever had the success, not just the amount of people that are coming, but meaning like staying power. A church in a downtown that's lasted 3 years without any financial backing besides you being an Amazon delivery driver and working at a 501c3 organization and planning services and interest meetings and having no money and now having this beautiful facility. That could not have happened, in my opinion, while staying married, loving your wife, loving your kids, enjoying yourself.
Yes.
Because it's one thing to make it all happen, but then to have no joy is like, what is the point? I think it's indicative of being the type of human that God can work on secretly. And if I could be so bold, I feel like God's done that in my life. Whatever he takes me, whatever he does in my life is up to him. I have humongous dreams that I feel like he gave me. Ephesians 3:20, beyond what I could ask, think, or even imagine. I want that for my life. I want that for Divine Persuasion. I want that for you. I want that for local and people we come in contact with. Me and you are the same. Like, let's dream big. Let's dream bigger for what God could do in San Diego.
Yes.
Let's dream of these streets being flooded with people who are obsessed with the story of Jesus because Jesus has captured their heart.
Yes.
And I think it does start with people. I mean, you look at scripture, bro. The story of David, one of the most beautiful literary stories ever. This little kid that his dad didn't even bring in to be addressed before the prophet to potentially be king.
Yes.
And then years of hiding and being hunted down like a dog. And multiple times having the ability to kill Saul, yet he doesn't do it. And of course, even through it all, he has his own moral failures.
Yeah.
And God still calls him a man after his own heart.
Yes.
Dude, the story of God, the story of Jesus, the story of grace is the most beautiful story of all time. And it captures my heart over and over because the idea is you and I, success, failure, wins, losses, marriage, kids, ministry, pioneering, church, business, whatever may come. There's gifts and there's talents, but more than anything, there's a brokenness and a realization that just as much as we want to see the streets of San Diego flooded with followers of the way that are genuine, want to see the homeless crisis that's happening here be solved by people who love Jesus and are willing to leverage their finance in order to see it happen. I know you already do that, and you partner with local organizations, which is beautiful. But man, I'm excited for the future of local church. I'm excited for the future of your local studio. We're in this together.
Let's go.
Because I think, and again, we have not arrived, and I don't know that we ever will. We're still young in this. But I believe that God is working on our hearts in secret. And I just want to say, if you're watching this, man, and this has resonated with you at all, he's working. He has a plan. You're forgiven. You're loved. You're healed. You're set free. Even if you don't know, even if you don't feel it, he's doing it. I've done this before, but I feel like you, as the pastor, close us in prayer and give us your final thoughts.
Yes. Final thoughts is thank you for this.
Bro, you're the best.
I mean, yeah, it's a podcast, but bro, I feel so refreshed. And I think that's just like a mark of, that is the seal of when you know the Holy Spirit's involved. And I mean, I'm a pastor, so like I'd say things like that. You know, I know you have other types of guests and all that, but you know, I feel refreshed. Thank you for this.
Thank you, bro.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see all the people that are going to be blessed through this whole DPS podcast that you do. And yeah, let's pray. I just want to pray for people who feel a little bit lost. And I think that's, you know, sometimes we talk because we've been doing this and we grew up in it and we had fathers in the faith. Some people are new to it and they're like, man, they're just so confident. And we're not, absolutely not. We're just taking it one day at a time.
That's all we have capacity for.
And that's it. So let me just do this prayer. Lord, I pray for every individual that is listening right now, that is watching, who feels lost, just feels like they're not measuring up, that they're not good enough, that they've missed the mark, or maybe they feel tempted to quit because they feel like they've lost their timing. Lord, I just pray that you would just cover them up right now, wherever they may be, that you would remind them of who they are, that they would give you back that pen to write the rest of the story, because to be honest, you are a way better writer than we are. You care more than we do, and you're more committed to our future than even we are, Lord. So today we surrender our lives back to you. We know that we are loved. We know that we are seen by you. But I just pray, Lord, that in the next week that they may feel it. May you show yourself in a way that is evident and that is clear. May you just wake somebody up from that spiritual sleep, and they may wake up to the reality that there are people to be reached and there's a whole world that needs to hear the good news of Jesus. So we surrender our lives to you. We repent and we love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Bro, thank you so much. What a freaking time.
Let's go.
Beautiful, bro.
Love you.
You're the best. Te amo mucho.
Te amo más. Come on.
Dude, so good.